Chiefs. That's right, guys. I said the dominating factor of the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs dominated the Houston Texans earlier today out at 1 o'clock to improve to 14-1 on the season, Mark. They are now they only need one win, one more win to lock up that number one seed in the AFC playoff race. I feel that they have finally started to play some true, complete, dominating games the last 2 weeks. Now, the haters are going to say, Mark, well, they haven't broke 30 points. Well, when you're only giving up 16, 18 points per game, you don't got to score more than 30 points. But when we look at the Kansas City Chiefs, Mark, I want to ask you this question. Will the Kansas City Chiefs get the number one seed in the playoffs?
Come on, man. Don't you ever get tired of talking about the Chiefs already? Dude, no. Come on, man. Of course they're not. Of course they are going to get the number one seed. They are the top dogs until somebody knocks them off their throne. Yes, it'll be theirs. I really was hoping Buffalo would do it this year, but I just don't think there's going to be enough games lost by Kansas City for them to get that spot.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you are a Buffalo Bills fan, the Kansas City Chiefs only have to beat the Steelers or the Denver Broncos, and they're probably going to beat both of those teams. Let's just be honest. The Broncos are not very good. Steelers have been kind of exposed as of late, right? But, Mark, let me give you some facts here, right? Let me give you some true NFL facts here. The Chiefs do play the Broncos and Steelers the next 2 games. All they need to do is win one of those games. They don't got to score 30. They don't got to beat them by 50. They don't even have to score a touchdown. As long as they win one of those games, they get the number one seed. And I told you guys, the Kansas City Chiefs are starting to play complete and dominant football. If you guys do not think they dominated the Houston Texans this game, go back and watch it. Go back and watch the game in slow motion. They won in every aspect of the game. Oh, Buck, they only won by 8. They only won by 8 because they have football IQ. They slid down at the 20 to milk the clock. They could have broke 30. They could have beat the Houston Texans by 2 scores, but they decided not to. And on top of this, Mark, the Chiefs' offense is improving each and every week. They have gone from 23rd ranked offense to 19th ranked offense. Mark, now they're the 13th ranked offense in the NFL. They're 13th ranked in passing offense and 16th ranked in like rushing offense as well. And the weakest part of the Kansas City Chiefs is the red zone scoring. And guess what, Mark? What did they do today? They scored in the red zone. They scored in the red zone today, and this is the team, guys, that you do not want to play. Guys, there is no question in my mind that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to get the number one overall seed. There's no question in my mind that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to three-peat. There's no question in my mind that the Kansas City Chiefs might four-peat, Mark. The Kansas City Chiefs are that freaking good. Yes, one-score games, only 27 points, Buck. Oh, it doesn't matter, baby. We going to the moon, Mark. What are you shaking your head about over there?
Buck. I know you love your team and everything. You have waffled all year on your team. Like I want to say, like a couple weeks ago, you were saying they were not going to go to the Super Bowl. Now you're saying they're going to four-peat? Come on, bro. Like, I know we're both sick and everything, but like, don't let all that medicine go to your head. Yes, they are very good. They have improved week by week. Yeah, you got to give it to them. But I still think, like I've told you since I've been on this show, I don't think this is their year. They will lose to somebody in the playoffs.
So, I mean, obviously, I want to say this for a little bit of factor crap later. So don't give away your answer totally, Mark. But when you look at the AFC playoff picture, the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, are 3-0 against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs since underneath Mahomes. There's only been one team or two teams actually in the AFC that have beat Patrick Mahomes. And that's a Joe Burrow-led Cincinnati Bengals and a Tom Brady-led New England Patriots. Well, guess what, Mark? I mean, Joe Burrow might make the playoffs. If your Broncos lose out and they win out, bada bing, bada boom, the Bengals are in, baby. Say that. Now, if the Bengals make it and they got to play the Kansas City Chiefs in the first round, let's say the Chiefs drop down to the second seed. Oh, watch out, baby. Slow it down. But legitimately, Mark, who in the AFC can give the Kansas City Chiefs a run on the road, meaning at Arrowhead?
That's a really good question. I don't think anybody in the AFC really can compete with them except for Buffalo. And I think Buffalo will give them a run for their money, and they haven't got over that hump yet. But I think if that comes down to that, I think this is Josh Allen's year, dude. I really do. I really think so. I think this is their time. This is Buffalo's time. This is his time. I just think Mahomes is going to have plenty more years of winning Super Bowls, but this is Josh Allen's year.
Yeah, so I see the people like Alpha Rob. The first name that I saw the name that I was looking for, it says the Bills. Buck, the Bills will beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, guess what, guys? I don't think the Buffalo Bills would get past a team like the Baltimore Ravens or the Pittsburgh Steelers if they would have to play. Hell, they may not even get past a 7 seed in the LA Chargers in that first round. Don't shoot the messenger, but if the Broncos drop down to the 7 seed and have to play the Buffalo Bills in the first round, I might be taking the Buffalo, or might be taking the Denver Broncos in that game, just because I may be overlooking it, a little confident, and the Broncos defense is not that bad. So you guys say Bills, but Mark, the Buffalo Bills may not even make it past the first round or the divisional round. What if the Bills don't make past the divisional round? Go ahead.
Well, you say that, but why do you say that? Why do you think that immediately they're going to get beat by a wild card team? Like, why would you do that? After the way they've been playing all year, they've been killing teams, and you're just going to say that they're just going to lose to my Broncos? Not to say that I won't love to see my Broncos beat them, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah. So the reason that I say this, right, is because there's such thing as peaking too early, and I think logically thinking, let's just be honest. The Buffalo Bills end of their schedule, the end of this season sucks. They play the Patriots, the Jets, and the Patriots. 3 should be easy-ass cakewalks. Yes, they're divisional games. Yes, they're divisional games. Yes, they're on the road, right? I understand all that. But their Super Bowl was last week when they beat the Detroit Lions. That was the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl. And their Super Bowl before that was when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, a month ago now, right? The Buffalo Bills are on cloud 9, and I think they're just taking the foot off the gas. They're coasting into the playoffs, right? They're going to play just good enough to beat the Patriots and the Jets and the Patriots again. And then when they have to play in that first round, in the wild card round, because the Chiefs beat your Denver Broncos come week 18, they'll be like, oh, man, I forgot how to play football tough. And the Broncos have been battling for their playoff lives for the last month. They are ready. Now, there's a little thing called shock and awe, right? Yes, the Buffalo Bills will come out in that second half and make it a competitive game, but the Denver Broncos already got the confidence in them. The LA Chargers already got the confidence in them. Confidence is killer, Mark. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're wrong. You're not wrong. I'm glad that I'm kind of glad that you say that, because that makes me think that you feel that the Broncos are going to make the playoffs. And dude, after these 8 years, I'm like got PTSD, and I'm like worried they're not going to make it. But we have a really good high percentage to do it, so I feel like it could happen. But I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to say, yeah, it's happening. But you are right. We are very confident. Like, I think we played really well against the Chargers, even though we didn't come out and play well in the second half. I think a lot of it, I don't want to be that guy that blames the refs, but we got hosed on a bunch of calls. I think if those calls went some other ways, we might have scored. It might have been a different outcome. But I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah, and just to elaborate, right? Even if the Broncos do lose their last three games, right? The Bengals or the Dolphins still have to win their last 3. So that means the Bengals have to beat the Browns, they have to beat the Broncos, and they have to beat the Steelers. I don't see them winning all 3 of those games at all. Then you look at
I think we're going to beat them, Buck. I think the Broncos are so pissed we lost to the Chargers, and we're going to beat Cincinnati.
And honestly, it would not shock me, right? But then the Miami Dolphins, right? They do play the 49ers, the Browns, and the Jets. Both road games, and we know how Tua plays in the cold. Not very good. And Cleveland and New York, it's going to be cold. So neither of those teams are going to win out, and you guys will probably not lose out. I honestly think probably the playoffs get locked up this week, honestly. So come Sunday afternoon, we are making a post. Denver Broncos finally clinched. The Chargers clinched, right? The Ravens clinched earlier today. The only thing left in the AFC is the winner of the North, and then the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills up like up the top. That is what it all comes down to in the end. But let's go ahead and jump over here into the comments, guys. My voice starts to crackle. I apologize. The question is, will the Chiefs get the number 1 seed? I say yes. Mark, you say yes as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we are both in agreement that the Kansas City Chiefs do get the number 1 overseed. They just have to beat the Steelers or the Broncos in the next 2 weeks here. So Laura says that injury for the Texans was nasty. Yes, Tank Dell had a
Dislocated kneecap.
dislocated kneecap, so he will definitely have to have surgery. I don't know if you guys have ever had anything dislocated. I dislocated my elbow one time, and they tried to pop it back in on the field, and I passed out. Like it is excruciating pain. It is the worst pain that you can ever imagine. WBN says, yes, sir, I'm hyped, but the job's not done, meaning the Baltimore Ravens. And Smalls says, guess what? What, Smalls? Are you killing me? Get what I did there, Mark. Get what I did there. and like Laura says, why does KC got to be spoken of first? Because they won and they played the first game, Laura. That's just how it works.
And it's Buck show.
It's I do what I want, right? Jim Powell says the key to beating the Chiefs is being up 2 scores in the last 5 minutes. As that is true this season, right? There's only been one team to do that, and that is the Buffalo Bills, and that was the dog days of the NFL season, right? Let's just be flat out honest. The Kansas City Chiefs went in there with the vanilla defense, a vanilla offense. The Buffalo Bills played out of their mind. They dominated the Kansas City Chiefs in that game. I'm not taking anything away from the Buffalo Bills in that game, Mark. They dominated the Kansas City Chiefs every aspect of that game. But when you think about that, Mark, when you hear that comment, the key to beating the Kansas City Chiefs is being up 2 scores in the last 5 minutes of the game. Ask the Buffalo Bills how that happened back in the playoffs a couple years ago, right? 13 seconds. Is beating the Kansas City Chiefs being up two scores late or just a single score game? Like, what do you think?
Dude, Mahomes is one of those guys. He's like Brady. You got to step on his throat as much as possible through the whole game. You never let off your foot. You keep the gas flowing, dude. That's how you got to beat them. Like, there's no way you beat them if you leave 2 scores on the clock. Like, no doubt they will find a way to beat you somehow. I know you guys always talk trash about my guy Elway, but Elway was one of those guys, dude. He could come back within 1 or 2 scores in a game and come back and win the game. He did that a lot, and that's why we love him here in Denver.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't have anything bad to say about John Elway. I just know how to get your goat. Let's just be honest. Alpha Rob says KC will get the number 1 seed, but the Bills will still get their bye week on week 18. So they're taking everybody off week 18, which is a good thing, right? Hopefully the Kansas City Chiefs don't do that because I don't want to see rust start to develop, right? Because we've seen teams that have locked in the number 1 seed in week 16, week 17, whatever it is, right? And then they take week 18 off. And
I'm going to that game, so I don't want him to rest players, dude. Come on. Yeah. I want to see Mahomes.
So you are picking the Steelers to win Christmas Day then, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Yes, probably, yes.
I mean, if you want to see Mahomes play, the Steelers better win Christmas Day.
Okay. All right, then I need the Steelers to win so I can see Mahomes play. Yes.
I'm just putting it out there. Casey Morgan's in the chat. What's up, Casey? Hope you're having a grand old day. And WBN brings up a great point. Kansas City is getting back healthy. Hollywood has returned. Pacheco a few weeks ago still got Kelsey, and D-Hop is a playmaker. Honestly, seeing Hollywood Brown make his first Kansas City Chiefs catch today made my heart very, very happy. Seeing D-Hop make that back shoulder catch mark on the sideline made my heart very, very happy because I cannot think of a dominating receiver core for the Kansas City Chiefs in the last 10 years. Nobody legitimately on the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver roster has, besides Tyreek Hill, right? But I mean, like the whole core, they've never really scared you, right? I mean, you've been a football fan longer than me, right? And you've seen
who was that wide receiver that couldn't remember? Didn't you guys have a year when you guys didn't have a touchdown to a wide receiver like almost the whole season? I can't remember when was that. It was like a couple seasons back, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I don't remember who the other core players were, but Dwayne Bowe was our main guy.
Yeah,
and
yes.
Yeah, and he did not catch a touchdown pass for like 2 complete seasons, something crazy, just like that. I think we ultimately ended up trading him to the Browns, I believe it was.
But that just kind of shows how bad you guys wide receiver was.
Yeah,
it just shows you like.
Well, but it also shows you how good our tight ends and running backs like have been, that we can still consistently win 13 games, and of course the first round exit to the Colts. But I digress. But yeah, they got a lot of playmakers coming back. Casey says Chiefs are playing for the win. Stats ain't in their vision. Exactly. It's all about wins, baby. There are no style points in the NFL. And Jim says, slow it down, baby. They're not beating Philly. So, Jim, that tells you that you think Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. That tells you that you think the Philadelphia Eagles are the real deal. And I can get behind that.
If Philly doesn't beat Philly.
If A.J. Brown doesn't beat Philly, that's the real thing. John Peoples is in the chat today. Mr. Pigskin Punter himself. What's up, John? Hope you're having a grand old day. And Casey says,
John?
Philly is all about the run. Chiefs are better than most stopping the run. Listen, the Chiefs had trouble stopping Dalton Schultz today. Joe Mixon had a couple spurts, but yeah, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs are 4th ranked in rush stopping defense. So Josh Olson is in the chat today. What's up, Josh? He says, I honestly believe it that the Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. So, Mark, if this were to happen, this means that the Baltimore Ravens have to win the AFC North for the Kansas City Chiefs and Ravens to meet in the championship game. So, let's talk about the Ravens a little bit, right? Let's skip ahead and let's talk about the Baltimore